Jared Leisek joining me now, talking about his business, what he does. And it's fascinating to me, Jared, as I started following your YouTube channel, you found a whole new career in helping solve crimes.
And a career in which I actually enjoy going out and doing it. Too many people will go to work every single day and they hate what they do.
No, and this is a second, third career for you, isn't it? Even beyond that?
Yeah, third or fourth. I mean, I've been a residential developer in the past. A trader. I've owned a plumbing company. Full-time father, husband, everything else in life. And now I'm at a new chapter in my life. Girls are now grown. And what can I do what is our purpose here in life? I have no idea. But if I can leave a lasting impact and change somebody's life that they're never going to forget me, it's really a mission to serve is where we're at right now.
Well, tell people what you do then.
So we started off, just simply clean up the environment. As divers going under the, out of sight, out of mind, we see that. And so we started collecting the trash. And I set a goal of, hey, let me see if I can pick up 2,000 pounds of garbage before the end of the, before the summer is over. That was 2 years ago. I ended up picking up 12,000 pounds of trash within a 3-month period. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. I mean, enough with the cell phones, enough with the sunglasses and the fun little trinkets is what I call them now. But about 1.5 years ago, I was up in Portland scuba diving in an old closed boat ramp, and I ran into a car. I'm like, well, I need to get this car out. And so I contacted the city and I said, I'd more than happy to offer up my time, my services and pull this out for free of charge, no cost to the city, but I need access to the closed boat ramp. And they said, absolutely not. I'm like, people tell me no all the time, but I never listen to them. And so with that, we as divers, we usually use, 20, 30, 50 pound lift bags all the time. And I'm like, all I need is I just need bigger lift bags to float a car, take it down river a mile to a public boat ramp. And with a public boat ramp, nobody can tell me no. So that's kind of how this was born. Is I went in for that first car and it was only supposed to be the one car.
But so when did it turn then to crime scenes and helping missing people?
Well, so the one car turned into, we went in for that one, and when we went back in for it, it turned into 2 more cars that we found. Mm-hmm. When we found the 2 more cars, we found 3 more cars after that, all at the same location. And so I started thinking, how many other closed boat ramps are out there, and how many regular boat ramps are out there, and one thing led to the other, to where now people know that we have the ability to float these cars and pull them out of depths that nobody else is doing. That we're now seen as, hey, we have this cold case over here. We have this missing person, and we think that somebody might be in there. And so that's kind of how this kind of started moving towards the direction of working on cold cases and working on helping, families bring home their lost loved ones.
Wow. Well, give me an example of lost loved ones, as you said, missing people, where you've helped solve the case.
Yeah. So we have, Nathan. So we have Nathan Ashby. That was one of our first big ones that we ended up doing last year. With that, when the family reached out to us after, several of our viewers had seen what it is that we do with cars, and they just were not getting any help from the local have red tape. And don't mind the crew. We're actually doing it. Rumor. I'll get back to your story in just a minute for you. But we actually have a jailhouse rumor where we're at today at a quarry in Mexico, Missouri, where a gentleman calls me up and he's, hey, I'm in my 70s and the family needs to know where their loved one is at. I said, sir, are we dealing with a homicide? He goes, yes, we are. I said, is he in a vehicle? He goes, yes. And he told me exactly where the vehicle had been placed in one of these quarries. And so we're doing a search on the quarries up here today to see if we can actually find this lost loved one from a case from 1980, 1981. I'm in that time frame.
Wow. That's amazing.
So back to Nathan. And so with Nathan, the agencies tend to have a lot of red tape. The conditions are too dangerous. We don't have the right equipment. We don't have the finances once we do find it. It's no longer a rescue. It's now a recovery, and recoveries fall to the bottom of the list. And so the family kept getting the runaround on this, with the fire departments kept saying they were going to do it, but then the Missouri River Patrol said, well, we might do it, but only if the water conditions are, pretty much like glass. Well, the conditions are never going to be like that. And so eventually we stepped off the case. We said, I'm sorry, the agencies they're going to do it. They're going to get to it. Well, it was coming up on Christmas time. It was coming up on the end of the year, and the movement just was not there after 3 or 4 months. and to the point to where I became very upset about the entire thing. Like, this family has to have answers, and they have to have answers before the end of the year. You know, his birthday just happened. We've got anniversaries. We've got holiday seasons. And so so Sam and myself, we waited until we were done enjoying the holiday season with our own families. We jumped in the vehicle the day later. We drove 30 hours there. And, by the end of that next day, we had Nathan out of the water.
Wow. And from diving, did you find him as a diver?
So we found him with another search and recovery team. So Team Waters, Dennis and Tammy Waters, they specialize in above water sonar. And so with the use of their boat and their sonar, they were able to identify 15 vehicles in the river over there, and with one of them being a pickup truck in the size and the shape of what we were looking for. Of course, this is 20, 25 feet underwater. So, sonar doesn't read license plates, and it doesn't tell you what color the vehicle is. All it gives you is, just a nice little, image is what it gives you. So then that's where we as divers come in to drop down on it. And with that one, we had 7 and 9 knot currents in there, and just the struggle just to get down. And we ended up going down 4 different times in order to get this hooked up properly so we could actually pull Nathan out of the river.
What's your background in this and diving? How did you learn all of this?
Yeah, I got started back in 2006 as a father-son activity. My wife was supposed to do it as well. However, after the first 5 minutes of the training DVD they sent home with you with the, hey, if you hold your breath, this balloon represents your lungs, and if you hold your breath and you come to the surface, you're going to blow up and die. With that one, my wife said, I'm out. Give my slot to your brother. And so it became a father-son activity, and that's how we got into diving back in 2006. Life then hit me with my dive gear sat up on the shelf for the next 10 years. And it wasn't until about 2.5 years ago, I had a buddy that was doing YouTube, and he goes, and I was producing a show for him. He says, you're great behind the camera. You need to get in front of the camera and do something. And so I pulled my dive gear off the shelf to, clean up the environment and share some of these stories. And in doing so, that's how all this blossomed to YouTube and Facebook.
So in the last couple of years since you've been doing this, how many of the cases have been missing people? Do you have numbers to that?
I've lost track as to how many missing persons cases we've been on. But as far as, actually solving missing person cases, I think we're on 4 or 5 now that we've been able to help with.
How does law enforcement feel when you come in? Are they threatened by that, or are they excited to have the help?
Turf wars, because you have the sheriff's department that is then working with the local metro, who's working with the fire department. And then you also have, state, patrol as well. Well, now you have water patrol as opposed to land patrol. Nobody wants the responsibility, but at some point they kind of want to say, hey, we're going to take care of it. So that way in the end, they can be the heroes in this.
Sure.
And so with that, we end up with a lot of turf wars and stuff. In fact, with Nathan's, we ended up with the fire department refused to even come down, Riverside. They wanted nothing to do with it, but they kept saying that they were going to be the ones to actually go in and recover Nathan.
Is that what you see in most cases?
It is. Things are starting to change for us. We do have 18 million viewers a month and a lot of them are law enforcement. And we have a lot of law enforcement that has reached out. Hey, if you need a liaison, if you want to come to our state, our town, our community, we welcome you. And one of the things that really, has set a lot of the other LEOs off, law enforcement officers, is one of our most recent videos that we put out with Nicholas Allen, because of the instant, wall that was put up and the confrontation that we had right out of the gate. It's like, no cameras, don't record me. That's not the vehicle. If it is the vehicle, how do you even have proof? Like, we have the license plate in hand. Like, I've already dove on it. And well, there's no evidence that, he's even in there. So fine, let me go pop windows and I'll tell you within 3 minutes. Oh, no. So many, so much pushback on us just being there that there was no appreciation from the sheriff. There's no appreciation from the deputies. I've never even experienced another dive team or another diver that didn't even acknowledge us. Like, hey guys, don't talk to them. Whatever you do, just go in and do your thing. Like, as a dive commander, I would think that one dive commander and another would want to at least speak to the divers that have already been down on this to a little bit of it. So,
how many people are on your team?
How many people are on our team? I would say 18 million viewers are on our team.
Good way to put it.
Anytime that a water recovery is necessary with a vehicle and a person, they're the ones that are doing the research. They're the ones that are reaching out to us. But in addition to that, I'll bring one of my guys up real quick here. Sam, come on up. So this is Samuel Ginn. He was actually with me on the Nathan when we really stepped up the mission. When we really stepped up with the mission to serve and to help other families. And now, how many vehicles with bodies have you been on with me now? We got Nathan, Nicholas, Timothy, 3 that we pulled out, and as far as searches, like another dozen plus. That we've been on.
Since I have you both here, what does that feel like when you're able to? I mean, I'm a reporter, and I've been in journalism for 25 years, and I see the pain that families go through when we talk to them when someone's missing. We're going to talk in a moment about the case here in Colorado where that family is really struggling. What does it feel like when you're able to help them find closure like that?
This is different for us than it is for first responders and the police and you as a reporter, because either friends and family are reaching out to us or the family directly. And so when we come in, we're meeting them down at the site. They have hope that we're going to be able to bring that resolution and closure to them. We become emotionally invested even before we get out of the vehicle, that we have to prepare ourselves for this emotionally. That there's been some cases where we didn't solve anything, but just with them knowing that somebody tried.
Somebody cares. That's what we really connect with them, emotionally, and they just bring us into their arms like family.
And that's what we received from everyone that we've helped so far is, what, Jared and Sam, you guys will forever be a part of our family.
Yeah.
And when we are done for the day, we have to take a day for ourselves the day after to emotionally recover from all of it.
Yeah. How do you pay for it? I mean, you're traveling, you're diving, are you getting now hits from YouTube that's coming back, or how are you making it all work?
So I don't know if you can see this or not, Natalie, but that pocket is a little empty right now. This it comes out of my pocket. So Sam's on the trip, 100%. He's taking time off and away from his family as well, and I think he pays for a little bit of food, but I'm covering all the gas and the expenses of it. But where that's also coming from is we could not be doing this with 100%. We could not be doing this without the YouTube platform, without the Facebook platform, because of several things. One is, yes, we make like half of a cent for every view, but those half cents add up to where, we can pay the expenses to put gas in the vehicle. But then in addition to that, we have, a lot of the viewers have stepped up with, straight donations, whether they donate via PayPal or Venmo or, on, YouTube when we do YouTube lives. We also have a membership to where some of them become a part of the team, and now they have a vested interest, and as such, we have the ability through YouTube to give them, the videos early as well.
Well, let's talk in YouTube. Tell me the channel so anybody listening can go right to it.
Absolutely. It's Adventures with Purpose on YouTube, and over on Facebook, it's Mr. Leisek.
Okay. So let's talk about Colorado. I know you're getting tips from people. They want you in different places that you're going to take off saying, good to see you. Thank you. The case here in Colorado.
Good. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too. And thanks for what you do. The case here in Colorado has been a real mystery and really tough on that family, tough on that community. I'm not sure, you probably know, Suzanne Morphew's brother led a search of his own outside of law enforcement. I think they were involved in some way. So there's been a lot of community help to try to solve this case, but it's been a really tough one for people here. Tell me how you were turned on to it and then what you're planning to do.
Yes, I mean, you refer to it as community help, and that's really what social media is becoming, is nationwide, worldwide support of that. We're stepping in to not step on the toes of law enforcement, but we're stepping in to help assist. Law enforcement has not yet really accepted what the grand scheme of all this has become, around the nation. I think that as time goes on and they see more of our videos and they see more of profiling evil and a few others that are out there, they're really going to embrace what is it we're doing from the research side of it, and the time that we're investing, and that we're coming into these communities on our own dimes to help out the families, to bring that closure. That you do have to watch out for some of these YouTube channels. They're out there showboating. All they're doing is they're just grabbing a headline, and they're sitting in their, in their mom's basement, and they're putting out these stories, and they just, beat it to death with here's another Suzanne Morphew case. No, there's somebody else just, and so they do nothing but repeat what other people are already saying, and they do nothing. We're out there doing, and that's what we're doing. Is we're coming into your community. And one of the issues that we have is we have such a big following already that we actually have people that are sleeping outside of our RV as we travel at night because they want to be a part of what it is that we're doing. And while we appreciate that, there's just some cases like Suzanne where we have to come in very stealth, and it's kind of hard to hide stealth when we have a big RV and trailer to tow. But with that, we're working with boots on the ground that are already there. We're working with Mike King and the guys over at Profiling Evils to gathering some of the information tips as to what's already been searched and what has yet to be searched. We're working with a AK that's over there that's either a Marine or Army. I forget exactly what it is, but he has the skill to put us in some of these locations of, hey, he planned on going and searching this mine, but he didn't quite have all the water skills that were involved to go into a mine with water to check it down deep, whereas we do. So he's really grateful that we're coming in, that he can put us on that spot. He can be our ground support, and we'll take care of the water portion of it. And one of the things that we really have to do is we have to remind people that, don't reach out to us with every missing persons case across the U.S. We're specialized, and we have to stay within that specialty of not kicking rocks on land. Let's focus on those leads and those tips as to where water needs to water, so we can focus on our specialty. And part of our specialty is, before you jump in, sorry,
go ahead,
is that is sonar. We first start with sonar in a lot of these locations to scan it, side scan, down scan, 360. And if we identify something, then we suit up, and then we get in the water, and then we investigate even further to identify, yes, 100%, this is a vehicle. Oh, it's not the right vehicle that we're looking for. Let's keep the search going. Or, hey, we identified a vehicle. It's not the right vehicle, but it's not being cleared either. We have to pull this out of the environment and identify if there's somebody in there.
It's amazing to me how many vehicles are left underwater.
We found 17 just in one location over here in Nashville 3 days ago.
And that no one knew about? Or did they just leave them there? I mean, how do these vehicles go for so many years in water that no one takes out or knows about?
Yep, out of sight, out of mind. So again, coming back to no agency. If agencies do know about it, they don't want the responsibility of it. So at example, down in Houston, Texas, there's over 300 vehicles down in the bayous down there. And if you do a quick little search on it, you'll see that the local sheriff at some point actually tried to put a gag order on another search and recovery team down there that said, don't tell anybody about this. Well, no, I mean, this is what we do. We tell people about it, and we try to make a difference and a change, but we don't just talk about it. We come together as volunteers to, bring awareness to it and to do something about it. Yeah. And so when we come to Nashville, in January, we already have the volunteers that were there with us a couple of days ago. I just got a phone call that says, Jared, we have an Airbnb set up for you. We have a car dealership that's, stepping up. We want to put together a festival so that way, on day 5 that you're pulling cars, we can sell like pontoon boat rides out to where you're pulling these cars. And we have a big festival going on land, as a winter fest to, river stewards. And so, yeah, it's amazing the support that we have, like I said, across the U.S. and around the world.
Wow. Well, so back to Suzanne Morphew. We followed this very closely from the beginning. A couple of weeks ago when her brother was here. Why the water search? Like all along the way with the search, that's never come up. Is there reason to believe that you need to search water there?
The water search has actually come up quite a bit. And I received, some people that, hey, we've looked in the waters here, we looked in the waters there. But one of the things that people keep coming back to is, Barry. Barry was wet. He had the hotel room. There's 3 ponds that are near that. We're also dealing with, mine shafts. We're also dealing with the, some of the hunting grounds. And I'm not saying that Barry did this. I'm just saying that people question as to if Barry is involved in this and he was wet. Why was he wet? Well, we now have water that's involved, so we need to be looking in the water. We also have, the psychic mediums that, keep having visions of she's encased in concrete, giving very detailed, here, look for this sign and this sign. And some of those have actually, kind of directed AKs to, Jared, we need to check this one and we need to check this one as well. And before all this, AK even told me himself, he goes, Jared, he goes, before this, he goes, I wasn't a believer in that, but some of these have actually been a part of solving some crimes. And so we can't rule them out. And so if Jared's coming in with, Sam and Adventures with Purpose, let's go ahead and focus on this and make the most of our time while we're in town.
So without giving dates so that you guys can get in there and not have issues, how long do you think it'll take you, and how many different sites are you planning here in Colorado to look into the water? You mentioned a couple of ponds and a mine shaft. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, when we come in, we can usually cover, 4 or 5 locations fairly quickly, depending on how far they're spread out. So it won't take us long. As an example, if we were to go search the 3 ponds back behind the hotel, it's going to take us, hour and a half to clear all 3 of them.
Are these locations all near Salida in where she went missing?
No, we do have some locations that are, 2 hours away.
Yeah, because a lot of the talk has been Barry being in Denver for a job, but right after she went missing. So between Salida and Denver, I'm guessing then is where some of these bodies of water might be.
Yeah, and Broomsfield, as well as up for some of the hunting grounds that he's been known to, be very keen to know the territory up there.
So you're planning to use the sonar to do any diving, or do you just take that as it goes when you get there?
Oh, we go into every day with here's where we're at today. What's the mission? And we just make the best use of our tools at that moment in time.
Wow. Well, I'm amazed by what you do. I think it's great. I can see that you do it with a real purpose and the name of your organization. And I think it's fantastic. Anything that we can do to support you, if it's publicity or whatever it might be, I'd really love for you to let me know. I love people who do things with a purpose and a passion and to make a difference.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we just asked, a lot of people do want to donate, and we do have those avenues for you. But first, and foremost, please don't send us anything if you are on a fixed income. We know that money is tight. As much as you want to help, please don't. I've had to turn money away for that reason, because I know that was your last dollar. What means the world to us is, liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing. That means the world to us, just knowing that you're there supporting us in that passion.
Well, that's what we'll do. We'll get your name out there, and the website. You said you gave me your Facebook page, your YouTube channel, website, or anything else that you want us to be able to help with?
Yep. So YouTube, Adventures with Purpose, Facebook, Mr. Leisek, and we also have MrLeisek.com.
Okay. Well, good luck, and stay in touch, and we'll be watching and praying for what you do and helping folks.
Perfect. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Okay.